grounding electrode conductor, or GEC, serves as the primary path for fault current to return to the source. It is imperative that this conductor remains continuous and without splices between the grounding electrode and the water or gas pipe. Section 250.30a of the National Electrical Code, or NEC, explicitly states that the grounding electrode conductor shall be continuous and shall not be spliced or have any joints or taps except as permitted in 250.30 At-WO or A3. These exceptions, 250.30 At-WO and 250.30 A3, provide allowances for splices or taps in very specific scenarios. These include instances where the grounding electrode conductor is being extended, or when it becomes necessary to connect a grounding electrode that is not inherently continuous. The reason for this strict requirement lies in the critical function of the GEC during a fault event. A break or splice in the GEC can impede its ability to safely carry the fault current back to the source. This impedance can lead to a range of potentially dangerous consequences, including damage to the electrical system itself and, more seriously, injury to personnel. When a fault occurs, the electrical current seeks the path of least resistance to return to its source. The grounding electrode conductor is specifically designed to provide this low impedance path. Any interruption or reduction in the conductivity of the GEC caused by a splice or break increases the resistance of this path. This increased resistance can force the fault current to find alternate routes, potentially through building structures or equipment, posing a significant fire or shock hazard. Consider a scenario where a piece of equipment experiences a ground fault. The fault current should ideally flow through the equipment grounding conductor, back to the service panel, and then through the GEC to the grounding electrode system, ultimately returning to the source. If the GEC is improperly spliced or broken, the fault current may encounter a high resistance at the point of discontinuity. This resistance can cause the voltage on the equipment grounding conductor to rise, creating a potential shock hazard for anyone who comes into contact with the faulty equipment. Furthermore, the increased resistance can limit the amount of fault current that flows back to the source. This limitation can prevent the overcurrent protective device, such as a circuit breaker or fuse, from operating quickly enough to clear the fault. The delayed clearing of the fault can lead to overheating of conductors, insulation breakdown, and potentially a fire. It is also important to understand the role of the grounding electrode system itself. The grounding electrode system, which typically includes items such as ground rods, water pipes, and concrete encased electrodes, is intended to provide a connection to the earth. This connection helps to stabilize the voltage of the electrical system with respect to ground, and it provides a path for fault current to dissipate into the earth. However, the earth is not a very good conductor of electricity. Therefore, the grounding electrode system is not intended to be the primary path for fault current to return to the source. The primary path is the grounding electrode conductor, which is why it is so important that it be continuous and unspliced. When connecting to a metallic water pipe, it is crucial to understand the requirements outlined in the NEC. The water pipe electrode must be supplemented by an additional electrode, such as a ground rod or concrete encased electrode. The reason for this requirement is that metallic water pipes can be susceptible to corrosion or disconnection, which could compromise the effectiveness of the grounding system. By supplementing the water pipe electrode with an additional electrode, a more reliable and redundant grounding path is established. The connection to the water pipe must be made within a specific distance from the point where the water pipe enters the building. This distance is typically 5 feet, but it is important to consult the NEC for the specific requirements in your jurisdiction. The connection must also be made on the street side of the water meter or any insulating fittings. This ensures that the grounding connection is effective even if the water meter or insulating fittings are removed or become damaged. When connecting to a gas pipe, it is important to note that the NEC does not permit the gas piping system to be used as a grounding electrode. This is because gas pipes are typically made of steel, which is a relatively poor conductor of electricity, and they are also susceptible to corrosion. Connecting the grounding system to a gas pipe could create a dangerous situation, as fault current could flow through the gas piping system and potentially ignite flammable gases. Therefore, it is essential to ensure that the grounding electrode conductor is connected only to approved grounding electrodes such as ground rods, water pipes, or concrete encased electrodes. In summary, maintaining the integrity of the grounding electrode conductor is paramount for electrical safety. The NEC mandates that the GEC be continuous and unspliced, with very limited exceptions. Any deviation from this requirement can compromise the ability of the electrical system to safely handle fault currents, potentially leading to equipment damage, personal injury, or even fire. When working with grounding systems, always consult the latest edition of the National Electrical Code and adhere to all applicable local codes and regulations. If you have any doubts or questions, consult with a qualified electrical inspector or engineer. Furthermore, regular inspections and maintenance of the grounding system are crucial to ensure its continued effectiveness. Check for any signs of corrosion, damage, or loose connections. If any issues are identified, they should be promptly addressed by a qualified electrician. Grounding electrode conductors are typically made of copper or aluminum. The size of the GEC is determined by the size of the service entrance conductors. Table 250.66 in the NEC provides guidance on the minimum size of the grounding electrode conductor based on the size of the service entrance conductors. It is important to consult this table to ensure that the GEC is adequately sized to carry the expected fault current. When installing the grounding electrode conductor, it is important to protect it from physical damage. The GEC should be installed in a conduit or raceway where it is exposed to physical damage. The conduit or raceway should be securely fastened to the building structure. The grounding electrode conductor should also be protected from corrosion. The GEC should be made of a corrosion-resistant material, such as copper or stainless steel. If the GEC is made of aluminum, it should be installed in a dry location and protected from contact with dissimilar metals. The grounding electrode conductor should be connected to the grounding electrode using approved connectors. The connectors should be properly sized for the conductor and the electrode. The connectors should be installed according to the manufacturer's instructions. The grounding electrode conductor should be installed in a neat and workmanlike manner. The GEC should be run as directly as possible to the grounding electrode. The GEC should be securely fastened to the building structure. The GEC should be labeled to identify it as the grounding electrode conductor. The grounding electrode conductor plays a critical role in protecting people and property from electrical hazards. It is important to understand the requirements for installing and maintaining the GEC. By following the NEC and other applicable codes and regulations, you can help to ensure that the electrical system is safe and reliable. The purpose of grounding is to provide a low impedance path for fault current to return to the source, tripping a breaker. A grounding electrode conductor is not designed to carry current under normal conditions. Its sole purpose is to provide a path for fault current. Bonding ensures electrical continuity and conductivity. Proper bonding reduces the risk of electrical shock and fire. Grounding and bonding work together to create a safe electrical system. Regular inspections and maintenance are essential to ensure the effectiveness of the grounding system. Always consult with a qualified electrician for any electrical work. Understanding the importance of grounding and bonding is crucial for electrical safety. It is important to stay informed about the latest codes and regulations. Proper grounding and bonding practices can help prevent electrical accidents. Grounding electrode conductors must be continuous and unspliced to ensure a safe and effective grounding path. The grounding system is a critical component of the electrical system. A properly installed and maintained grounding system can save lives.